Hi everyone, welcome to Azad Revenge Stories channel. I'm staring at a PowerPoint presentation on my laptop screen at 11:37 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I can literally see my own Grammarly suggestions embedded in what's supposed to be someone else's strategic proposal, the little green underlines, the specific word choices I agonized over, even the weird comma splice in slide 14 that I never fixed because I was rushing to meet a deadline 3 months ago, the new marketing director position, the one they just announced, the one I've been preparing for, planning for, practically bleeding for over the past year, and sitting in my kitchen in my pajamas. I'm looking at Cadence Riley's original strategic vision that got her the job, my job, a salary of exactly $127,000, which happens to be the exact figure I calculated and proposed in my compensation negotiation draft. The one I saved in my personal files. The one that was never supposed to exist anywhere except my laptop. My name is Jenner. I'm 34. I've been in marketing for 12 years. And until about 6 hours ago, I thought I understood how the world worked. I thought if you were good at your job, if you mentored people, if you shared your knowledge and lifted others up, eventually that would come back to you in some meaningful way. I'm an idiot. Before I go deep into this, and trust me, we are going deep, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know where you're watching from in the comments, because I need to know I'm not alone in this. I need to know that other people have felt this specific brand of betrayal where someone you trusted doesn't just stab you in the back, they steal the knife from your own hand to do it. Cadence started at Brightwater Communications in March. 26 years old, fresh MBA, all the right buzzwords in her interview. Our director, Kim, assigned her to me for training, which honestly I was excited about. I like teaching. I like seeing people grow. I've mentored probably 15 people over the years, and most of them have gone on to amazing things. I'm proud of that. Or I was. She was smart, really smart, asked good questions, took detailed notes, always staying late, always eager to learn more. "You're like my work, Mom," she'd say. And I'd laugh because, God, that made me feel so old, but also kind of honored, like I was doing something meaningful. The laptop thing started small. "Jenner, my computer is being so slow. Can I just use yours for like 5 minutes to send this email?" And I'd say, sure, of course, because that's what you do. You help people. My laptop froze again. "Can I just hop on yours to pull that client data?" "Sure. Sorry. One more time. Mine is updating and I need to get this presentation started." "Fine. Sure, why not?" Looking back, I should have seen it. But when someone calls you their work mom, when they bring you coffee and ask about your weekend and seem genuinely grateful for everything you're teaching them, you don't think they are, I don't know, studying you, taking inventory, planning. The marketing director position opened up in August. Internal candidates only. I'd been doing half the work anyway since Kim got overwhelmed with the Johnson account. I wrote the entire strategic plan for increasing client retention. I researched salary benchmarks. I built projection models. I even practiced my presentation in the mirror like some kind of corporate theater kid. But companies like to interview multiple internal candidates. You know, shows they're being thorough. So they interviewed me, Cadence, and 2 people from other departments who everyone knew didn't have a chance. Standard procedure. My interview was on a Thursday. I felt good about it. Really good. I presented my strategic plan, talked about my 12 years of experience, my track record with client relationships. The salary negotiation conversation went well. Mr. Patterson, the VP, seemed impressed with my research. "Very thorough," he said. "We'll be in touch." Cadence's interview was Friday afternoon. I know because she asked me again if she could use my laptop for just a few minutes to review her notes. Her computer was being slow again. Always so slow. That computer. They announced the decision the following Tuesday, team meeting at 9:00 a.m. Kim looked uncomfortable. Mr. Patterson looked pleased. "We are excited to announce that Cadence Riley will be stepping into the marketing director role." She presented a comprehensive strategic vision that really impressed the leadership team. I smiled. I clapped. I said, "Congratulations," because that's what you do when you're a professional. When you're 34 years old and you've learned to manage disappointment like a grown-up, I figured maybe I'd miss something. Maybe her presentation was just better. Maybe I wasn't as ready as I thought. But then Patterson kept talking. Her client retention strategy in particular showed real innovation, and her salary negotiations demonstrated excellent research and market awareness. Client retention strategy. That phrase stuck because that was the centerpiece of my presentation, not just the concept. Everyone knows client retention is important, but the specific strategy, the three-phase implementation plan, the projected ROI calculations. I went back to my desk and did something I probably shouldn't have done. I looked up the salary figure for the new director position. It's posted internally once positions are filled. $127,000, which is a very specific number, not 125, not 130, 127,000, the exact amount I had calculated using salary comparison websites, local market research, and industry reports, the exact amount I had saved in a document called Director Salary Research Juniam Docs in a folder labeled Personal on my laptop, the laptop that Cadence had used for just 5 minutes approximately 12 times over the past 6 months. That night, I went home and opened every document I'd worked on related to the director position, the strategic plan, the salary research, the client retention proposal, and I started looking at something I'd never paid attention to before: the document properties, creation dates, modification dates, edit history. Most people don't know this, but Microsoft Word and PowerPoint track everything. Every change, every edit, every user account that touches a document. It's all there in the metadata. If you know how to look, my strategic plan document, created by me on July 15th, last modified July 28th by me. But here is the interesting part. When I checked my recent file access history, something you can do if you're logged into Office 365, that same document had been opened 17 times in August. Times when I was in meetings, times when I was at lunch, times when I wasn't at my desk, but someone else was using my laptop for just 5 minutes. I couldn't sleep that night or the next night. I kept thinking about all those times she'd asked to borrow my computer, how she always seemed to need it right after I'd been working on something important, how she'd gotten so comfortable with my keyboard shortcuts, my browser bookmarks. Oh, you keep your client contact templates here. That's so organized. 3 days after Cadence started as director, they sent out her new strategic vision to the entire company, a 12-page document outlining her plan for the department. When I opened it, I felt like I was looking at my own reflection in a funhouse mirror. Everything was there: the three-phase retention strategy, the client touchpoint optimization plan, even the specific language about leveraging cross-platform synergies, a phrase I'd been proud of because it sounded professional but actually meant something concrete. But it was slide 14 that made me absolutely certain. A paragraph about quarterly review processes that included a comma splice, a very specific comma splice where I'd written, "We will implement monthly check-ins with key accounts. This will allow for rapid response to client concerns." Wrong grammar. I knew it was wrong when I wrote it, but I was rushing to finish before a deadline, and I just left it. There it was in Cadence's strategic vision, word for word, comma, splice, and all. But this time it had my Grammarly suggestions embedded in the document. That little green underline suggesting I change "this will allow" to "which will allow." The exact suggestion I'd ignored 3 months ago. That's when I realized this wasn't just about one presentation or one job. This was systematic. She hadn't just borrowed my computer occasionally. She'd been harvesting everything, every strategy, every template, every piece of knowledge I'd shared in good faith. I started going through my files methodically. Every document I'd worked on since March, every email template, every client profile, every process I'd spent years developing and refining. And I found something worse than I'd imagined. My client contact database wasn't just copied. It had been accessed and exported multiple times. Email addresses, phone numbers, project histories, contract renewal dates, personal notes about client preferences, everything I'd built over 12 years of relationship management. But why would an internal employee need to export client contact data? I spent the weekend digging deeper. Call it obsession, Call it righteous anger, call it whatever you want. I was in full detective mode. I checked my email sent folder for messages I didn't remember sending. I looked at my browser history for websites I hadn't visited. I even called our IT department and asked about my account activity, claiming I was worried about security. What I found was worse than simple plagiarism. Cadence hadn't just stolen my work to get promoted. She'd been actively selling my client relationship strategies to competitors. My contact templates were showing up in proposals from other agencies, proposals that had been undercutting our bids for months. The digital trail was all there. Emails sent from my account at times when I wasn't at my desk. Documents accessed and immediately saved to external drives. Even my personal contact with clients. She'd been using my relationship with them to gather intelligence about upcoming projects, then feeding that information to other agencies. I had been training my replacement. No, I had been training my replacement to steal my life's work, my professional relationships, and my career advancement, while simultaneously helping competitors destroy my company from the inside. And she'd just been promoted to manage me. That Sunday night, sitting in my kitchen with printed copies of document metadata, email logs, and access records spread across my table like some kind of corporate crime scene, I made a decision. I was going to methodically, carefully, and completely expose every single thing she'd stolen. Not because I wanted to hurt her, though I won't lie, the thought was appealing, but because letting this stand meant that everything I'd worked for, everything I'd built, everything I believed about how people should treat each other meant absolutely nothing. And I was going to make sure that when it came out in a way that no one could ignore, minimize, or explain away. The digital forensics trail was going to be her downfall because she was smart. But she wasn't smart enough to know that computers remember everything. Every click, every copy, every paste, every file transfer, and every email sent while someone else was logged into your account. I was about to teach her one final lesson, the kind you only learn when you've gone too far and pushed the wrong person beyond their breaking point. The kind that ends with consequences. Monday morning, I walked into the office with a flash drive in my pocket and a plan that had kept me awake until 4:00 a.m. Not because I was nervous. I was past nervous. I was in that crystal clear headspace you get when someone has hurt you so badly that emotion transforms into pure methodical focus. Cadence was in early, already sitting in what used to be Kim's office, arranging her new desk. She waved at me through the glass wall. Bright smile. Good morning, Jenna. Can we catch up later? I'd love to get your thoughts on some new initiatives. My new initiatives, she meant, but I waved back and said, of course. Congratulations again. I needed to be smart about this. Corporate environments have their own ecosystems, their own rules about evidence and accusations. You can't just walk into HR with printed emails and metadata screenshots and expect people to care. You have to build a case that's so airtight, so thoroughly documented, that ignoring it becomes impossible. First stop, our IT director, Marcus Chen. I'd worked with him on various projects over the years. Good guy, detail-oriented, the kind of person who takes digital security seriously. Marcus, I need to ask you about something sensitive, I said, closing his office door. I think someone might have been using my computer without permission, and I'm worried about security breaches. His demeanor changed immediately. What kind of unauthorized access? I showed him my printed account activity logs. These are times when my files were accessed, but I was in meetings or out of the office. And look at this. Documents being saved to external drives when I never save anything externally. Marcus pulled up his administrative console and started typing. Oh, this is not good. Jenner, your login credentials show access from multiple IP locations during times when your badge wasn't used to enter the building. And yes, I can see significant external storage activity. When did this start? March. Right when we got a new intern. He was quiet for a long moment, scrolling through screens of data. This is a serious security violation. We need to document everything and report it to management. Can you give me a list of who had physical access to your workstation? Just one person. Cadence Riley. Marcus stopped typing. The new marketing director. Yeah. He leaned back in his chair. Jesus, Jenner, This isn't just a security issue anymore. This is corporate theft. We need to involve HR and legal today, but I asked him to wait just 48 hours. I needed to gather more evidence. I told him, make sure we had the complete picture before making accusations that could destroy someone's career. What I really needed was to confirm the external part, the competitor connection, because proving internal theft was one thing. Proving industrial espionage was something else entirely. I spent Tuesday playing detective. During lunch, I called 3 of our biggest clients, people I'd worked with for years who trusted me. I didn't accuse anyone of anything. I just asked casual questions about recent proposals they've received from other agencies. Hey, David, I know you guys are working on the Henderson account renewal. Just curious, have other agencies been reaching out about similar projects? Actually, yeah. Funny you should ask. Creative Solutions Group contacted us last month with a proposal that was eerily similar to some of the strategies you'd outlined. Very specific stuff about our customer retention challenges. Made us wonder if there was some industry sharing going on. Creative Solutions Group. I wrote down the name. Did they mention how they knew about your retention challenges? They said they had an inside understanding of our business needs. Even mentioned that client appreciation event we did last year, the one you helped us plan, which was weird because that wasn't public information. 2 more calls, same story, different agencies, but all of them approaching our clients with proposals that included specific, intimate details about their business needs. Details that only someone with access to our internal client files would know. By Tuesday evening, I had a list of 5 competing agencies who had been using our proprietary client information to underbid our proposals, and I had email evidence that these approaches had all started in April, right after Cadence began working with me. Wednesday morning, I requested a meeting with HR Director Patricia Vance and Mr. Patterson from leadership. I told them I had discovered a serious security breach that needed immediate attention. The meeting was scheduled for Thursday at 2 p.m., which gave me 24 hours to prepare a presentation that would end Cadence's career and probably land her in legal trouble. I felt sick about it. Not because she didn't deserve consequences, but because I genuinely had liked her. I had believed in her. The betrayal wasn't just professional. It was personal. She had let me invest in her, mentor her, care about her success while she systematically stole everything I had worked for. Wednesday night, I called my sister Emmer. I needed to hear from someone who knew me, who could remind me that what I was doing was right. She stole your actual work, Emmer said, like word for word, including my mistakes. And she's been selling our client information to competitors. Jenner, this isn't revenge. This is justice. She didn't just hurt you. She's been damaging your entire company. How many other employees are going to lose their jobs when the company loses clients because of what she's done? That's what I needed to hear. This wasn't about my hurt feelings or my wounded pride. Cadence had been systematically undermining the company that employed 63 people, people who depended on their jobs, their health insurance, their stable income. Thursday at 2 p.m. I walked into the conference room with a folder containing 47 pages of documentation, digital forensics logs, email metadata, client contact records, document creation timestamps, and comparison analysis showing the identical language between my proposals and the competitors' bids. Patricia, Mr. Patterson, and Marcus were already seated. I'd asked Marcus to join to verify the technical evidence. Thank you all for making time for this. I began 3 weeks ago. I discovered that proprietary company documents and client information have been systematically stolen and shared with outside competitors. I started with the simplest evidence, side-by-side comparisons of my strategic planning documents and Cadence's original presentation. Same language, same structure, same specific data points. This could be explained as similar thinking or industry best practices. I said except for this. I showed them slide 14, the comma splice, the embedded Grammarly suggestions, the document metadata showing that her presentation was created by copying and pasting from my original files. These green underlines are Grammarly suggestions that exist on my computer using my personal Grammarly account. They are embedded in the document properties. There's no way for these to appear in someone else's original work. Patterson was taking notes. Patricia was frowning at her laptop screen, following along with the digital copies I'd provided. Then I showed them the client information theft email log showing my account being accessed after hours. Client database exports happening during times when my badge showed I wasn't in the building. Contact information being saved to external drives. Marcus can confirm the technical aspects of this data, I said. Marcus nodded. Everything Jenner is showing here is accurate. The access logs, the IP discrepancies, the external storage activity, it's all verified in our system records. Who had access to your workstation during these times? Patricia asked. One person, Cadence Riley. She regularly asked to use my computer, claiming hers was slow or updating. The room was quiet. Patterson stopped taking notes. Then I showed them the real evidence, the competitor connections. Starting in April, 5 different agencies began approaching our clients with proposals containing specific confidential information about their business needs, information that only exists in our internal client files. I had printouts of the competitor proposals that our clients had shared with me, highlighted sections showing identical language to our internal client assessment reports, references to private conversations and confidential project discussions. David Morrison from Henderson Industries forwarded me this proposal from Creative Solutions Group, I said, sliding the document across the table. They reference a client appreciation event that we planned and executed privately. They know Henderson's Q3 revenue targets, which were shared with us under a confidentiality agreement. They even know that Henderson's marketing manager prefers morning meetings because she's more focused than information I included in our internal client preference notes. Patricia was reading through the proposals with increasing concern. This is corporate espionage. It gets worse, I continued. I've confirmed that all 5 of these agencies have been systematically underbidding our proposals since April. They are not just stealing our client relationship data. They are using it to damage our competitive position. Marcus pulled up something on his laptop. I've been reviewing our recent client losses. We've lost 7 major accounts since April, all to agencies that submitted proposals within 24 hours of our own submissions. That's statistically impossible unless they had advanced knowledge of our pricing and positioning. Patterson was looking at the timeline I'd created. March, Cadence starts. April, competitor intelligence begins. August, Cadence promoted. September, discovery. This is serious, he said quietly. If what you're presenting here is accurate, we're looking at theft, breach of confidentiality agreements, and possibly criminal charges. I believe it's all accurate, I said. But I think you should bring Cadence in and give her a chance to explain. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I wasn't missing anything, and I knew it, but I wanted to watch her try to explain away digital evidence, timestamp logs, and metadata that couldn't be faked or rationalized. Patricia made a phone call. Cadence, could you join us in conference room B, please? We need to discuss something urgent. 5 minutes later, Cadence walked in looking concerned, but not panicked. She sat down across from me and smiled. Is everything okay? You all look so serious. Patterson slid the side-by-side document comparison across the table to her. I strategic plan next to her original presentation. Cadence looked at it for a long moment. I watched her face change as she realized what she was seeing. I can explain this, she said slowly. Please do, Patricia replied. Jenner and I worked very closely together during my training. We collaborated on a lot of strategic thinking. I probably absorbed more of her insights than I realized. This looks like unconscious influence, not intentional copying. Marcus turned his laptop around to show her the screen. Can you explain unconscious influence that includes embedded Grammarly suggestions from someone else's personal account? Her face went pale. I don't understand what that means. It means, I said quietly, that when you copied and pasted text from my documents, you also copied the Grammarly data that's tied to my personal Grammarly subscription. Data that can't exist in a document unless it was directly copied from my computer. Cadence looked around the room. This feels like an ambush. I don't think I should say anything else without understanding exactly what I'm being accused of. You're being accused of systematic theft of proprietary documents and confidential client information, Patricia said, and we have digital evidence that strongly supports those accusations. I used Jenner's computer a few times when mine was having issues. That doesn't prove I stole anything. I slid the client proposal documents across the table. Can you explain how Creative Solutions Group knew about Henderson Industries' private revenue targets and client preference data? She picked up the documents and started reading. I watched her realize that we had evidence of the external sales, that this wasn't just about internal plagiarism anymore. I've never heard of Creative Solutions Group, she said. Marcus was typing on his laptop. Cadence, I'm looking at your company email account. You have 14 sent messages to craigmorrisonzo.net over the past 4 months. Would you like to revise your statement? The room went completely silent. Cadence was staring at Marcus' laptop screen, and I could see her calculating whether she could lie her way out of digital evidence. I think I need to speak with a lawyer, she said eventually. That's your right, Patterson replied. But as of this moment, you're suspended pending investigation. Please gather your personal belongings under Marcus' supervision. Your access to company systems and facilities is revoked immediately. But before she left, I needed to say something. Not for the room, not for the company, not for the investigation, for me. Cadence, I said, and she looked at me with eyes that were now completely different from the ones that had called me her workmon 6 months ago. I believed in you. I wanted you to succeed. I shared everything I knew because I thought lifting you up would make us both stronger, and you used that trust to try to destroy everything I'd worked for. She opened her mouth like she was going to respond, then closed it. I hope whatever you gained was worth what you've lost, I continued, because you didn't just steal documents. You stole years of my life, my relationships with clients I care about, and my faith and mentorship. That last part is going to take me a long time to get back. After she left with Marcus, the three of us sat in the conference room for another hour. Patricia explained that the company would be conducting a full forensics investigation and that law enforcement would likely be involved. Patterson apologized for what had happened and assured me that my original strategic plan would be implemented under my leadership. We'd like to offer you the marketing director position. He said the salary Cadence was offered was based on your research anyway. It seems only right. I accepted not because it felt like victory, but because I had earned it a year ago, 6 months ago. Last week, they asked me not to discuss the details with other employees until the investigation was complete, but they assured me that Cadence would not be returning to the company under any circumstances. A month later, I learned that she had been charged with corporate espionage and theft of trade secrets. The competitor agencies who had been buying our client information were facing lawsuits from the clients whose trust had been violated. Creative Solutions Group lost their business license. Cadence's lawyer reached out to Patricia about a settlement. Apparently, she wanted to apologize and make amends. I declined to participate. Some betrayals are too fundamental for an apology to heal. But here's what I learned from all this. I was right to believe in mentorship. I was right to share knowledge and lift other people up. What happened with Cadence wasn't a failure of my approach to treating people well. It was a failure of her character. I have 3 new team members now. I still train people. I still share templates and strategies and shortcuts. But I also set up proper digital boundaries. And I pay attention to warning signs I used to ignore. And every time someone asks to borrow my laptop for just 5 minutes, I smile and say, let's get it to fix your computer instead. Because trust isn't something you give away carelessly. It's something you offer thoughtfully to people who have earned it. And when someone violates that trust as completely as Cadence violated mine, the appropriate response isn't to stop trusting entirely. It's to get better at recognizing who deserves that gift. The $127K salary, it's nice. The promotion, long overdue. But the real victory was refusing to let someone else's moral failure turn me into someone smaller, more suspicious, more closed off than the person I want to be. Although I have to admit, watching her escorted out of the building with her personal belongings in a cardboard box while security disabled her access cards That part felt pretty good too. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had someone betray your trust like this and how you handled it. And if you're someone who's thinking about stealing from a mentor or colleague, just remember that computers remember everything and some people are a lot more thorough than you think. Like and subscribe if this story resonated with you, and I'll see you in the next video. I invite you to subscribe to the Azad Revenge Stories channel, like this video, and support me further by hitting the hype button so the story in this video can be heard by many more people. Thanks to all.